Hello, hello, hello. I am so sorry for being late, everyone. Apparently the power company needed to do some testing and they shut us down for a couple hours. So I have no idea why they do this stuff in the winter. It's kind of crazy, but anywho, I am here now and hopefully more people can join us. Please feel free to say hello in the comments. If you're not catching me live, please forward to or stick around for the readings. They are pretty much collective readings for everybody, and I believe that if you find videos or they are meant for you and have a message for you. Sometimes I have spirits that want to step through, so that also happens, and really depends if I'm meant to give this message or not, you know. All right, so a lot of times, also during these readings or lives, Facebook won't let me see any of the comments, but keep trying, please. So let's see, I'm trying to get it. My phone stand isn't working the way it used to. We'll put it that way. Not the way it used to. Alright, so I light this candle with the full intention of giving clear and concise readings for those who need the messages today. I've already called in the quarters, cleansed the area, and now our candle's lit. I wanted to start with talking a little bit about Sagittarius season, and because it's coming to a close very soon. And I have some interesting points I wanted to show everyone. I just have to turn it down. A little distracting for me. Okay, so a few things. Okay, maybe I should just show you my sticky notes. All right, waters. Okay, that's a little bit much for what we got here, but I just want to say, okay, in astrology, the ancient people did not think that Earth was the center of the universe. That is not true. They knew that everything revolved around the sun. However, when reading the stars, we're reading them from our point of view on Earth. And that is why they put Earth in the center of astrology, basically. Now, if you're talking astronomy, they were very close in practice, and one couldn't be without the other when you were learning these things. Definitely in the mystery schools and stuff. But I just want people to think about, how do I put this? So basically, like, I just drew a belt, right? The center is Earth. I need to turn the light on. Oh, let me see. This thing has a light. There you go. So the center is supposed to be Earth, right? And then we have the sun, Jupiter, Mars, Venus, the moon, and Saturn. Like, where's Mercury? Did I forget Mercury? Anywho. But yeah, the zodiac, sometimes you'll hear it called a zodiac belt because it is literally like a belt that goes around Earth in such a way, and even bigger. I believe it stretches into the zodiac as well, but just think of it like that. All right, so now that the sun, right, because the sun is traveling as well, the sun is moving. I should show you guys the way the sun moves. It is crazy. The sun, I feel like it's so important for people to know this stuff if you're ever wanting to understand astrology. But the sun moves, let's see, in a spiral, right? And then we'll say this is the sun. All right. As above, so below, as within, so without. So the sun also moves in a spiral, you know, plummeting through space. And we orbit around the sun. And when the sun, this would be its highest point, right? Oh, I'm sorry. This is its highest point. This is called the zenith, right? So, okay. And then this would be its lowest point. All right. This is winter solstice. This is summer solstice. If you're in the northern hemisphere, which most people back then assumed that nobody would live in the southern hemisphere because life was kind of impossible or super hard for them out there. So another way to look at it is this would be the earth. Oh, what a crooked earth. Well, earth isn't exactly a straight ball either. And then the sun will moves like this. Okay. And this would be winter, summer, right? The longest day of the year, shortest day of the year. And that's like our equator, which everything matters when it comes to that stuff. Anyway, so just a little something to think about. I feel like people should really, really at least try to understand how things move in outer space and the motion of planets and planetary bodies and the moon and the sun, just to be able to understand better the cycles, right? You want to be able to recognize cycles, whether it's out there or within yourself or around you. All right. So that said, I'm going to move on to Sagittarius. Now, I've been taking crazy notes, right? This is what I'm working with here. So let's see. All right. Sagittarius. Sagittarius's mantra is I aim. Okay. I aim. He is the bull killer. Sagittarius actually means the bull killer in Latin. All right, so he is an archer in the sky, and the most important moment for an archer, or if you've ever done archery, isn't the aim, isn't yada yada. It is the moment of release, and it's a mastery, it's a skilled, and in some practices, they believed that if you missed that bullseye, that you have an inner imbalance. Okay, if you hit the bullseye, then you're aligned with, you know, within and without. So, of course, like a new student would try to hit the mark, while the master will allow it to be. So, which shows that they're spiritually centered. All right, so when you're transmuting personal blocks within, this allows the arrow to find its true course. And the same is true in life, right? So as Sagittarius, right, you'll notice something else. So when I was talking about the zodiac belt, okay, so there's Sagittarius, we'll put his sign here. Oh wait, sorry, where the horizon would be here. So as Sagittarius comes over the horizon, let me see, the bull and then Gemini. All right, so this is the horizon. This is the equator or the center of Earth, right? As Sagittarius comes over that horizon, oh, I'm so sorry. As Sagittarius comes over the horizon, right? This is an astrological horizon. The bull goes down. Now, a lot of people will say that he's aiming for the bull, and others say he's aiming for the heart of Scorpion. Either which way. All right. So, as Sagittarius rises over the horizon, the bull, or Taurus, falls. The archer does aim at the heart of Scorpio, which someone, many people believe as well, which means that the target is within oneself, right? The heart of Scorpio. All right, that's our first page down. So, renowned as the wandering healer. Excuse me. Oh my goodness. Sorry. Okay, so Sagittarius is renowned as the wounded healer, which reflects the archetype of many shaman. His name and mythology is encoded in Chiron, the comet, which astrologically represents our core wounds. See what I'm saying? So there's Chiron, the comet, and then there's Chiron, the name of, see, I have some mixed feelings about this, but they claim the name of the Sagittarius archer is Chiron as well, which I've heard a different name, but anyway. So that's, the physical representation of the wounded healer, and then Chiron, the comet, would be the spiritual representation of the wounded healer. So, okay. So the glyph for Chiron, the comet, is a symbolic key which represents pretty much like resolving trauma. The key is representing how you unlock your highest potential and your truest aim. So while the work is never done, when we begin to heal our deepest wounds, we naturally hold space for others to heal too. Therefore, the lesson of Chiron is to accept your story to become your authentic self. Reconciling with inner trauma and honoring your story instead of denouncing it. At the heart of shadow work, you explore your darker aspects of your psyche to reveal the origins and reactions to your deepest wounds. We all have inner scars, and despite being, as far as Sagittarius goes and him being a centaur, despite being, if you know his story, an abomination to his parents, he found his purpose and he became a healer and a teacher. And that is pretty much the story of him, and it emanates us and our time moving through Sagittarius, right? So we're coming out of Scorpio, where a lot of people, can find themselves doing a lot of that deeper shadow work, and even many times finding their purpose. So when, Sagittarius represents purpose, healing, represented by Jupiter, so expansion, purpose, aim, doing things like, hitting the target, like doing things right and getting things done in order. And let me think what else represents so many things. I was just writing about it last night, and of course now my brain's gonna go blank, but I'm looking to see if I made any notes here. I gotta start writing things down rather than putting everything into my phone. But yeah, so we're moving through Sagittarius, which I'll get to that with the new moon, right? So we'll be at 28 degrees. Something very interesting about this new moon, as well as others, is we've had 3 new moons prior to this coming new moon tomorrow. They have been at 28 degrees. And we're going to have 3 more new moons after this new moon in Sagittarius tomorrow at 28 degrees. They are also going to be at 28 degrees, which is literally unheard of. Many assume that the 28th degree, well, not assume, many call this degree the anaretic degree, which also means a critical point or sometimes crisis. So it's pretty much before that 29th when everything's integrated and you're bringing all the lessons in and they're going through your subconscious and through your cells and your DNA and everything. And some people really feel like they're going to break. If you fight it, you're going to break. If you move with it, it'll be better. But that's before we get to the 29th degree. And then at quote unquote 30 degrees is 0 degrees of the next sign. You've already entered the next zodiac sign. So enough about that. People always talk to me. They're like, I want to know about astrology. Da da da. How does it work? Yada yada. Well, you know, that's a little bit. All right. So first out, I want to start with Seasons of the Witch, Yule Oracle. I love this deck. All right. All right. So yeah, Sagittarius also represents like gratitude, authenticity, a lot of giving, and kind of like being a martyr and not ever getting it back in return, because you know there's just people like that out there. All right. Let's see what else. Sagittarius, I believe, rules I think it's the 9th house. I don't know why I can't think of it off the top of my head. But it's the house of purpose and spirituality, higher education or a higher mind, a higher learning and understanding of different spiritual topics. Okay, so what I have here is merriment. Merriment. Look at those guys. Oh, we got candles on the head. Merriment. 21. What joy, what glee beams from the sounds of voices, uplifting the webs of sorrow, glimmering as if no tomorrow. So basically, bring a little cheer into your life. You know what? I'm going to get my stand over here. I was going to go live last night, but things have just been coming up. Like, I've been so busy, y'all. Sometimes now I'm at the point where, like, if I'm not so busy, I just want to relax. You know, I just want to take it easy. Okay, that's from yesterday. Okay, so we have merriment. Oh yeah, I've been making these crazy bracelets too. Oh yeah, they're okay. I just wanted to know what it was like. This one's made of copper. Oh, I don't know if you guys can see that, but it's all copper. Okay, and they're all glass beads. I don't do plastic. I don't like the plastic. Let's see if we can get you a little closer. Ooh. Oh, wow. The light changed. That's good. How's that? All right. I can actually see the screen now. Yeah. So I've been doing like a lot of orange things to hang the oranges in the house and the tree. This was my first, don't laugh, a little star. That's actually made from cedar sticks. So that's special to me because I like cedar. All right. Spirit guides, ancestors, what is the energy for the collective? At the end, I'm going to go ahead and read all these cards together. I don't see anybody here watching, or I don't see any comments, so just know that if you are here, I cannot see you. All right, let's do next as one, please, for the new moon Sagittarius. New moon Sagittarius, please. Oh, okay. And we have snow. There is beauty in the divine that settles on thy flesh, a magical enchantment bestowed in purity. Ooh, 33. I love that. That's my lucky number. Okay. We get one more, please. One more. Okay. So for what I'm hearing, I'm understanding that the snow card definitely means purity or purifying, which would make sense because basically it's a lunar kazini, which means something goes in front of or behind the sun. And anything that passes by the sun is purified by the solar fire. So whenever we have a new moon, that's what's up. All right. Oh, I have two cards that came out. Okay, we have Mother Mary. She's been showing herself a lot lately, actually. 23. Into the arms of mothering embrace swells a wisdom full of grace. In thy bosom, where she whispers, sleeps the eye of winter. Interesting. Let's move things a little bit. I don't know if you guys can hear the music or not. Okay, and last is this card saying remembering 29. Oh, thy glimpse glimmer in the darkest of sights, never forgotten, never still, yet pacing in the mind in the twilight of night. So I feel like this might actually be referring to you. You could be remembering some past connections that might not be so bright, I guess. So merriment is definitely asking that you raise your vibration. It's all going to be purified and released. And I feel like the universe is saying, like, she's your mother. And she's going to be there. And she's going to embrace you. And she will be the wisdom that you seek. And whatever is coming up is going to be almost like disseminated. Okay. All right. So we didn't, I'm looking at numbers now. We got 3, 3, 3, 5, 10, which makes sense because it's the end of the year. And, you know, this is a time of gratitude, thankfulness. We just had Thanksgiving. So, it's like, I'm hearing like, hold the light, you know, hold that light. So I feel like it's referring to the light within. Merriment also represents like happiness and, you know, actually purpose, like following your soul. What joy, what glee beams from the songs of voices. I feel like remembering, right? Remembering your ancestors is definitely a thing that we have to do today because they never had the opportunities to have, I'm sorry, they never had, I'm so sorry. they never had the opportunities that we have today. You know, we have this evolution, the internet, right? So you can seek a higher education. You can start your own business. You can move to a place far away. You can learn new languages and talk with people, you know, across the continents. Yeah, so I feel like it's guiding you towards, which aligns with Scorpio as well. This is guiding you towards things that bring you happiness. And they want you to act on these things that bring you joy, things that get you excited, you know, passionate about stuff. This is where it is guiding you towards. It wants you to move towards happiness, right? So if you don't know, like, then it's time to start trying new things and just seeing and testing, at least to see if it brings you happiness, if it gets you excited. So the snow, 33 is such a beautiful number. You know, I feel like it also aligns with Christ consciousness. You know, everybody wants a white Christmas, right? A nice blanket of pure blessings, right? I think we all would love that. So, you know, after it snows, everything looks brighter and cleaner. You know, little snowflakes, it's like wisdom dropping from the cosmos. So it's also connected with water, which is associated with access to the spiritual realm. So snow also carries very healing properties. If you think about people who like go into the cold water, it builds the immune system. Or even, you know, like a mind over matter thing, when you're walking through the cold snow and your feet are cold, but, you know, you can overcome it with the mind. There are Buddhist monks who've done it and climbed up mountains in bare feet. Let me think. You know, there's like a softenness to this too, like to soften yourself. Find something that brings you happiness, you know, put on good dance music and soften yourself. Allow happiness to come in. A lot of people just straight don't trust anything and they don't know how to allow authentic joy to come into their life. I've been there. You know, you can create things with snow too, versus other forms of water. You know, I think more is broken versus creation, right? Creating something beautiful, an ice sculpture. Okay, so we got that. We got the purification, the moving towards happiness, purpose, comfort. I'm getting a lot of comfort too. Okay, so with Mother Mary, she is a 5 in numerology. So that associates her with transformation, like a mid-transformation. So let's see. So she's a nurturer. She's like the Queen of Wands, right? The nurturer, the intelligent woman. She has wisdom. She has power and force, but she's also graceful, excuse me. And, you know, moves with, moves in a soft and nurturing way. So what I'm getting is like, if you guys have watched me for a while, you know, I talk about the seat of wisdom, right? And I feel like she is sitting in the seat of wisdom, which is like behind your third eye. So that natural feminine intuition. I feel like she's guiding to seek more wisdom in the divine powers that be. And that you can call on any sort of higher power when you need it. Like she will show up. Now, when I talk about a higher power, right, I mean source, I mean God, I mean the gods and goddess, right? It doesn't matter what you call it. It is the all. And I feel like just, you know, like a loving mother or creator, they will always be there. So she's, you know, nurturing, she's peaceful, she's wise. You can't, there's a lot of this like softness. It's like, you can't, excuse me, you can't move forward by force, rather than you need to like allow this flow, right? To bring you through the change and the transformations and the, what is the word I'm looking for? When you're integrating, right? So integration. I feel like this also, like if you're in a situation, it's going to require trust in a higher faith. So like this is all very Sagittarius, to be honest, because that Sagittarius is about faith and spirituality and higher intelligence and higher learning, and your purpose. Don't destroy the magic by forcing things, okay? Because I feel like we're being interweaved right now and the magic is already happening and there's a flow to it. And if you force anything, like you're gonna break that thread and God knows what will go. You never know when, you know, it took me a long time to learn this. I'm not saying don't go after things that you want and yada yada. This is different. This is about, I feel like you see, here's a pretty common example. You're breaking up with someone, that person wants to walk out the door. You've given it your all. You've said everything. Don't fucking block the door. All right. You need to like let the person go. And God, you know, we don't know what's going to happen, but the higher source does. And you have to trust it. You know what I mean? Everybody has their own path. Everybody has their own lesson. And really what that person's going through isn't your business. Like, worry about where you're going and your healing and what you're going through. And I'm not telling you to be selfish either. Like, it's just like everything's 50-50 in this world. Everything's duality, light, dark, right? Including all that. Like, you got to also be there for yourself and whoever you love, right? So there's a balance to everything. So moving on to remembering. Let's see. Oh, how thy glimpse glimmer in the darkest of sights, never forgotten, never still, pacing in the mind, the twilight of the night. So like reflection, inner knowing, again, like we're looking at feminine, soft energy and realignment. I'm definitely picking that up for like realignment. So there's this whole thing I've been getting, right, with the Sagittarius new moon, and it's like a timeline collapse, and I feel like this card is telling me this. This is weird, but so if you sit in stillness and quiet, or you know, put headphones on, whatever you got to do, and sit and think about the life you want, the future you want, and then kind of imagine that on a timeline, and you're on a timeline, and you're going to go ahead and you're going to pull that timeline to you. So you're going to pull your future self to meet you now therefore a time lapse will collapse. And it's meeting in one place at one time. And then you're going to go ahead and you're going to feel the emotions of what it's like to live that future life. And you're just going to hold that and think about it as long as you possibly can. And I know it kind of sounds silly or maybe even simple, but this is how manifestation works. You're going to align with your higher self and let it become you, let it enter you. And then, you know, when you're done, of course, release that. And then maybe take one action when the moon begins waxing again to maybe step more towards that future, right? And only you know these things. Nobody can tell you, but I just had that whole vision that I've been getting about this Sagittarius new moon and timelines collapsing. And that's what I was like seeing, like envisioning your higher self or your future self is better. Living that life that you want now, and you just pull that timeline to you. Let that future self embody it and feel it and hold that as long as you can until it's time to release it, and then take an action forward. So that's kind of what, you know, I feel like remembering is, right? They say like everything's already happened or everything's happening at once. So like remembering would be kind of remembering the future, but you're pulling it towards you. I know it sounds weird, but trust me, it makes sense. Okay, so that's one little reading I got there for Yule. I'm not seeing anyone in the comments. You know, doesn't say that anyone's watching. But I just really hope that you have at least learned something today. And, you know, I'm wishing you the best for a happy and successful new moon. Honestly, new moons are my favorite lunar cycle. It's because I can create. That's one of my favorite things to do. And let me tell you, people told me I'd never get out of the situation I was in. I did the work, man. And if you want to know how to do it, like, come talk to me. But it's like, it's hard work, you know? So, last card that came out is Dove Medicine. The dove represents peace. It's another soft energy, right? The wings are thick and strong, I see, for they have battled the most unforgiving winds. Be proud, be free, my child. Go on, soar like never be. That is powerful. Honestly, I feel like I can relate to that. So the dove, like very peaceful, very loving, very much Venus energy. You know, the dove is forgiveness, freedom, and also new beginnings. I think that's why people bring them into their weddings. It's a very gentle creature, and it's also associated with purity. It's white. Freedom, peace, forgiveness is probably the greatest gift of the dove. So I don't know if you need to forgive someone or forgive yourself or forgive someone just for your own mental health and sanity and well-being, period. Like, I've definitely had to do it. So, you know what? Let me grab this book real quick. All right. Let me see if I can find this. So we're looking for Dove Medicine. Okay. All right. Okay, so doves are gentle creatures associated with peace, freedom, and purity. Yeah, forgiveness. I got this the other day. Forgiveness is the dove's greatest gift, and it is through forgiving that peace and freedom can be obtained. Holding on to the past is a type of prison keeping you trapped within things that no longer exist. Perhaps you've replayed your situation in your mind, or maybe past hurts have prevented you from welcoming new experiences into your life, and you don't want to do that. Dove medicine guides you to spread your wings and fly away from the heartache of the past. Allow yourself to forgive those who have caused you pain. Forgiveness isn't for their benefit, but for yours. As you release the old, make space to learn to trust again and to welcome loving relationships that will support you. And that is Dove medicine. That's beautiful, huh? And that's a number 10. This is we're entering a year 10, interestingly. Which is going to be a lot of new beginnings and a lot of, we've closed a lot of doors this year in our year 9. We've shed a lot of skin. We've been doing the work and moving towards year 10. There's just going to be like new beginnings and maybe even parts that will be reflecting upon the past, and starting over, which can be a good thing if you just don't hold on to things. You don't want to live through fear. It's not healthy whatsoever to live through fear. Try your best to live through love and make decisions through love. And that doesn't mean like being super kind or letting people, screw you over. No. You also need to be like that balance. You have to have boundaries on the self, and these boundaries for yourself create boundaries for others. And that's self-love. That's a very strong form of self-love. And on that note, I'm going to get out of here. I don't see anybody active right now. And I hope this message found you. And I'm wishing you all very merry new moon in Sagittarius tomorrow. Make sure you check out the guides for any information that you might have missed. And big love to y'all. Blessed be.